Good morning, everyone. I'm your host, Mr. Rains, here at Cyber Rains. And today we're going to be talking about honeypots. Now, I'm not talking about honeypots like as in you see in the honeypots in Winnie the Pooh, even though Winnie the Pooh is the best expert on all things honey and honeypot related items. No, we're going to be talking about honeypots and cybersecurity. So let's go ahead and get into it. Honeypot is a cybersecurity mechanism that uses a manufacturer tag to lure cybercriminals away from legitimate targets, but it also gathers intel about the identity, the methods, and the motivations of said criminals. It can be any digital asset such as a software app, a server, or a network itself. Now, typically they look like legitimate targets in terms of structure, but they also serve as decoys as well as recon tools when dealing with cybercriminals. So you're going to be looking into how a cybercriminal attacks you, and also how capable they are and how smart they are when they're attacking your specific honeypot, because it's meant to look like the real deal, and you're using it as sort of a bait and switch in order to see what they're attacking and how they're attacking it and how capable they are in attacking it. The great thing about technology and the great thing about honeypots is that they're very fluid, meaning that they're not bound into any specific format. It's not like an Excel spreadsheet where you recognize it as soon as you see it. They're very fluid, but there are two main archetypes about how honeypots are made. You have production, and then you have research. Now we're going to get into this real quick. The production types are the most common types that are used for enterprise environments, businesses. And they really focus on crucial information and focus on things like intrusion attempts and traffic volume. So they're mostly looking into who's directly trying to attack and get into the system. That's their main concern. Then there's research types. Now, research type honeypots are more complex because they're trying to understand who the cybercriminals are, what techniques they're using, and how well funded they are. Now, note I said how well funded they are. It's because most of the time research honeypots are typically used by governments and intelligence communities. So they're really focused on trying to figure out who the heck these guys are and how they're working. Whereas a production type, they don't necessarily care who the criminals are. They just want them to stop trying to get into their system. But wait, there's more. So all honeypots are categorized in how interactive they are. Now, what do I mean by interactive? Well, it means how much are your analysts going to be fiddling around with them? How often are they going to be tweaking the honeypot in order to better help you or your organization? So there's two main types, the lower end and the higher end. The lower end are pretty simple, both in how they set up and how well they work. It's mostly you generate traffic logs and intrusion attempts. Plus, they're mostly used for enterprise environments, businesses, because of how low level they are. Not necessarily low level, but how low interactive they are. There are more reasons. So another reason is that they watch network traffic. Now, you could have an analyst in order to go over all the logs themselves and see what's been going on, who's been going to these sites, how many times people are getting into your system. But with honeypots, most of the time they're going to sum up most of the logs and tell you, okay, these people have been trying to get in this many times, or on this server there's been this many attempts, or someone really, really wants to learn how to make honey, and there's been an unusual amount of traffic just trying to make honey. We don't know why, but there is. It could be something. It really could be. I don't think so though, guys. But the point being is that it takes a lot of the workload off of your security analyst and thereby making it an incredible tool. Plus, the capabilities of a honeypot are pretty endless. You can use them for legitimately anything. You could even integrate it with an AI dating profile, so that way you can keep giving information to the person in order to ensnare them into keep giving you information, telling you where you've been, how deeply in love they are with your AI profile. Like, come on, Steven. We all know it's you. God. That being said, enough about Steven. There are some risks involved. If the cybersecurity criminal realizes they're working in honeypot, they'll just do a flood of intrusion attempts and cause it to start to overload, thereby causing a lot of alarms to go off that the honeypot is failing. Then the security analyst needs to go in and check and see what the hell is going on. thereby making a decoy for your defense team, and your criminals are actually able to attack the real system, and they're able to figure out how to get in based upon what they know about the honeypot. And then there's the second main risk: configuration. Now, most honeypots are pretty easy to set up depending upon how complex you want it to be, but if you don't configure them correctly, or worse, you set them up in your actual system, legitimate system, someone is going to be able to get to where they want to be through the honeypot. And what I mean is, most honeypots are typically set up in a sandbox area. Sandbox being a separate area away from the legitimate targets. Now, that is usually the standard, but if someone does not set up correctly and they have it inside of their own personal system where it's all kind of integrated together, someone will be able to just hack into the honeypot because it's designed to be hacked. It's designed to be a decoy that doesn't go anywhere. And they'll move laterally through the honeypot into legitimate systems, networks, apps, whatever your honeypot's trying to distract the attacker from, and then get into the real legitimate targets that they've been trying to get into. If they weren't able to get into it beforehand, they can get it into it through the honeypot, which is why it's crucial to always set up a honeypot correctly. With cybersecurity being needed now more than ever, it does help to understand the basic concepts of them. Obviously, check them out all on your own, but here are a couple places I highly recommend checking out. One of them is Crowdstrike. Now, Crowdstrike is a cybersecurity firm. They have a lot of one-on-one information that includes more than just a honeypot, but it also includes how the attacks happen, what kind of attacks they typically see in their own day-to-day life that can affect you. So if you want to check them out, there's a link below. Now, for those who are interested in getting into IT or cybersecurity, I recommend checking out CompTIA. It's a nonprofit organization that hands out top letter certifications for trades in information technology, including cybersecurity. They have a lot of great information about the standards that are being applied today. And there's another person out there on YouTube. His name is Professor Messer. He does consistent study guides about each version of the CompTIA certifications that are out there. The most popular ones being A+, Network Plus, and Cybersecurity Plus, or Security Plus. That's the actual correct name for it. Now, that's all I have for you today, guys. Stay hungry and keep moving forward.